Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the den. My name is LionHeartz and I'm joined today with JesseTiv, and we are bringing you guys an open beta review of Paragon. How's it going, Jess?
I am doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing alright. For those of you who don't know, Paragon is a third-person Moba being developed by EpicGames. Was released in August 2016. It had gone through a couple of alphas before that, but most people that have been exposed to it have been exposed to it in its current form. And the game is... I don't know how I feel about the game yet. I still need to put some more time into it, but overall, it is fun. What do you think of it so far, Jess?
I put a couple of days into it of game time, so I put a decent amount of hours into the game. I like it. I have a lot of fun with it.
Get a little frustrated at times.
I do get frustrated with it sometimes, and also I find myself going to other MOBAs sometimes when I feel like I'm not getting what I want out of the game, which I don't think bodes too well for its future, but it is in beta, so there's some changes that can happen for sure.
Yeah, and I'm bringing the perspective of I'm not really a big fan of MOBAs. In fact, this is the first one I've ever given like a serious, legitimate shot. I'm not a fan of League or Dota or anything like that. Yeah. And as someone who comes mainly from first-person shooters, that's primarily what I play, that's primarily what I enjoy, I've had a decent amount of fun with it. It definitely entertained me a lot more than I thought it would, and I thought for sure I was going to pick it up, play one game, and just put it back down because I wasn't having any fun with it. So the game definitely has the fun factor. But I guess we'll start from the very first thing that we should talk about is its performance. The game is running on the Unreal Engine 4. Anyone familiar with EpicGames knows that the game looks beautiful on this engine, but it's not very optimized. The game is very taxing even on decent systems. For reference, I'm running on an i5 6600K and a GTX 960 with 8 gigs of RAM, which is a very powerful system for what it's worth and can run pretty much anything. And I struggle to keep a solid 60 FPS on this game.
Yeah, same. I run a little bit weaker system with an AMD card, and I definitely get lots of frame drops. I have to run it on lower settings, which is a shame because the game looks so great. You want to run it on high settings, but I can't just be dropping frames left and right.
Yeah, which really, because the game is going in direct competition with these other MOBAs that are out there, and like League and Dota can run on anything. Well, Dota not so much anymore because Dota got poured over to the Source 2, so it's a little bit more taxing now. But League is so popular because you can run it on a toaster and that thing would still have 100 FPS.
Yeah, exactly.
How it goes. So hopefully, as the game gets further in development, I mean, every game that's being put on the Unreal Engine 4 seems to get better and better about its performance. Hopefully, we can see that improve throughout the development of this game.
It's also worth saying that EpicGames is working on like 4 titles right now, so maybe they don't have all their source resources going into Paragon.
I know that they've had hands in Ark, Survival Evolved, and Squad, but I believe those are with different companies. But they're working on the Unreal Tournament reboot, some other like third-person survival game that actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
I can't remember the
they
name
do
of.
Have like some kind of FPS or some shit going up too. So I mean, they got a lot of stuff in development.
Yeah, they're a very active dev team, and it looks like we're going to see a lot from them.
Yeah,
but, we're talking about Paragon, so we'll talk about that. So, one thing that sets Paragon out immediately from other MOBA is that compared to like an item store, the game runs off a deck system.
Yeah.
And the deck system is a complicated mess and it's really difficult to explain. But I kind of like it. I do like it. It's a little unintuitive and hard to get into, but I think it makes a lot of sense from like a balance perspective.
Yeah.
I
like it a lot. System? I think it's really cool. The only thing is it is very, very hard to get into, but once you're into it, and if you watch just like a couple of YouTube videos and tutorials, you can really figure it out pretty quick, but you do have to put some time into it. But the good thing about the deck system is it's not an item store, and cards are locked off from different heroes, so you can't just have the same crit bonus on one hero they have on another hero, which I think is cool and adds to a level of picking heroes that kind of fit the cards you like and similar to that.
And it can be a little bit annoying because the only way to acquire more cards is to open up card packs, but the card packs are relatively easy to obtain through the in-game currency, and you earn them through leveling up your characters and stuff. Right. So you're always gonna have a steady flow of cards, but if you ever wanted to put some money into the game, you could obviously get cards fast.
There's also the new setup that you can craft cards. They just came out with this update.
Oh, I didn't even know that they released the craft.
Yeah, so when you have quadrants and when you have like triplicates and stuff like that, you can break them down and turn them into different cards. So that's a nice system. And you do get card packs quite often, and they're free to open. They're not like crates where you have to pay to open them.
Yeah. And then the cards do very basic things, like they're cards for boosting damage and your attack speed. all the stuff that you normally see in the item systems and something like League. How does it compare to your experiences in League or other MOBAs?
It's a little slower. It's a little slower. The map's a little smaller, which doesn't lead. Like, those two things shouldn't go together, but they do go together in this game, just because
towers do so much damage. You can't really
the towers
push.
do damage to you, and also the other problem is the meta in this game right now is pretty slow. So that's kind of, it leads to not very many people pushing, which leads to slower games that almost always last an hour. And there's always a big disparity between the games. There's hardly ever any close games. They're usually blowouts that just last forever.
Yeah, it's just, the game has a very, very slow early game. It's a very slow mid game. It never gets to the point where it's like super fast time to kills until like the very end of the game, and by that point you're already like 45 minutes in. The game works off of, you start off level 0 and the max level cap is 15, and then to earn your cards you have to, instead of gold like in other MOBAs, you have to earn card points, and each card has like a value of card points you have to spend on it. So the game can be very grindy, and it is, in my experience, incredibly grindy.
Right, and your builds don't come together until you're like 10 or 11, sometimes 12.
But most of the time, you don't even get your full build until you're all the way 15, and by that point, that's like 50 minutes into the game, and some games you don't even get to 15.
Yeah, even though the games are going 45 minutes long, sometimes you don't even get all the way to 15, even if you're going really hard, unless you're, really playing hard on the minions, but the game is so goddamn slow sometimes that it's hard to even, you just want to push the envelope. It's hard to focus on just getting the minion kills.
It really feels like the game kind of has an identity crisis right now, where like the current map that's in the rotation, they're like rotating maps every once in a while to change up how the game is played, but the current map with the current meta and the current pace just doesn't match up. Like the small map with the real grindy pace and the TTK being what it is, it feels like there's a definite identity problem going on with how the pacing needs to be.
Yeah. I'd like to see just a little bit bigger map. I didn't get a chance to play the Legacy map, which I wish I would have had a chance to play. I just want to see a little bit more distance between the towers, because towers are so close together that it's hard to fight somebody in between towers, because they can just get back to their tower.
And is the map layout pretty traditional for most MOBAs, Jess?
Yeah, traditional 3-lane jungle, yeah.
And the game has a really colorful host of characters. We haven't really touched on that too much, but the game currently has 26 heroes available, with the plan to be around 36 currently, and they're all really unique. There isn't a single character that feels too much like the other. Obviously, like junglers are going to feel pretty similar to each other. Ranged characters are going to feel pretty similar, but they all have very unique sets of abilities that kind of play with each other. So I think a big aspect of the game that I really enjoy is that you can create so many interesting team comps, even off-meta comps that work really well. It depends on how coordinated your team is.
Yeah, if you're queuing together, it's pretty easy to stomp in this game, because there's no solo queue or duo queue yet. I'm sure
there's no voiceover either. You can't talk to your teammates.
no comms, but there will be a solo and duo queue, probably ranked playlist, which will be great, because those need to be in MOBAs, because it's too easy just to stomp as a team.
Yeah, really. I mean, I don't have friends, dude. I don't got no time for that.
Yo, same.
It really, right now, playing with a friend is just a huge advantage in the game, because there's no voiceover, so you can't really fastly call out to your teammates where people are. I don't know if there's a voiceover. I don't know if there's VoIP in other MOBAs personally, but I would assume so. I'd be really surprised if there was.
I don't think there is any in League. They have the same chat command system like they have in Paragon.
Yeah, the chat commands are nice, but God, man, I really wish people would not spam.
They're so spammy. There should be like a 2 limit, like 2 in a row.
You'll have people spam defend left, defend left, defend left like 1,000 times, and you're just like, God, man, I don't get it. Okay, I'm aware.
Yeah. I want to talk about the heroes just for a quick second, just because there's only going to be 36, and in other MOBAs you see upwards from 100 to 120 heroes, which is a big disparity, and I'm sure they're going to add heroes along the way, but to open the game with only 36 just feels low to me.
I don't know, I'm kind of iffy on it, maybe it's because I'm just not very well versed in MOBAs, but I kind of think having the smaller hero pool makes it better in the long run for balance, because now you have less heroes to deal with. There's less of an interplay. You're less likely to have insane like god combo teams that are just unbelievably good.
There's just so many heroes right now. There's 26 heroes right now. 10 of them never get played.
Yeah, that's true. I think that might have more to do with balance than anything.
Right. So I don't know. I just think there should be more options because right now there's only 2 heroes that I want to play, and it makes me not want to play the game just because there's not that many heroes that I like playing.
Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to experiment here and there, but for sure, it feels like as soon as you go off meta, you're at extreme disadvantage. I mean, when you have heroes like Chimera and Gideon and Grux just running around, just torching people, you really don't want to play anything else other than them because really they don't counter, they just kind of counter themselves, you know?
Yeah, any jungler right now is tearing it up because it's so easy to gank. You can get from one side of the map to the other side of the map without anybody knowing because you're running through the jungle. So those characters
and you're never spotted on the minimap unless someone makes eyesight with you, or they place down a ward, which a ward puts down like an AoE spot around a certain area. Yeah. So you can be in the jungle and just be totally unseen by the enemy team, just come up behind some dude and just torch him.
Yeah, and since this game is a little bit more accessible than League of Legends and Dota 2 for like first-person shooter players, because it's in the third person. Since it's in the third-person format, it's a little bit easier for FPS players to get into because it fits a little bit closer. And there's players that have guns, and it feels closer. So you have a lot of people who have never played MOBAs before playing Paragon, and most people don't buy wards or playing on the stock card setup, and it's just you just rip them in half.
That has to. The matchmaking right now is definitely very hit and miss, where sometimes you'll get teams that are unbelievable, just like top tier league players who are trying out Paragon. Then you'll have people like me who absolutely suck dick at the game, and they'll show up in rows. So right now, I think what the next big step for this game would be some kind of skill-based matchmaking or like a ranked ladder.
Just a ranked playlist, would be ideal, yeah.
That way, the players who are newer to the game don't have to get stomped, and players who are already really versed can play players of equal skill. I'm not too aware of how big the player base is, but it seems like there's definitely enough people playing it to warrant it. The game seems relatively populated all the time. I mean, I've never had a struggle longer than like maybe 30, 40 seconds.
No, I know the viewership is low. Like just based on Twitch, it's half of what Smite is, and Smite is very low on the totem pole as well. So we'll see when the full game comes out. Then maybe we'll see a spike in viewership. But right now, it seems like there's not a ton of players who want to play this game. But with that being said,
that the coverage of it is pretty low. There aren't a whole lot of like
it's not that many ads
YouTubers
or anything like that.
There haven't been any like tournaments yet. Or, like, big tournaments.
Well, there's been a couple of community tournaments, but they're not like
nothing
heavy.
Quite equal to like big name teams from other MOBAs coming over and trying to try out the game. The game's free-to-play system is quite good. All the heroes are free and available as soon as you log in, and then all of the pay-for stuff is all cosmetic, or you can buy card packs if you wanted to. But you definitely don't have to spend a dime on this game to get anything out of it, which I enjoy. It's a lot like Rainbow Six Siege in that regard.
It's very few. There's very few MOBAs that don't have pay-to-win features. League of Legends, Smite, Heroes of Storm, all of those have locked heroes that you have to pay to get, or you have to play a shit ton to unlock the best heroes. So you get stomped right at the beginning, unlike with Paragon and Dota 2, all the heroes are unlocked right away, which is a nice setup.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the way to go. I think we're seeing that change in gaming as a whole with games like Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege and Dota 2. Now, when you think of like a pay to win system, it's just more like, okay, I can get some cosmetics. The skins that they make for these characters look great. My one gripe I have with the skins and the whole cosmetic system is that they have a progression-based tree where it's like you can master a hero. If you get them to level 10, you can get this cool skin for it. But all the master skins look the exact same. Like, it's cool, but I would be more willing to do it because you have to spend a lot of in-game credits to unlock the master tree. Yeah. Or get it from a case that you pay with real money. So it would be a lot more worth it to do if the skins were unique and not just the same skin pasted to each hero. But that's kind of more of a small gripe than anything.
Yeah, I'm sure in the full release we'll get something maybe just a little bit different.
As for game modes, right now there's a player versus player matchmaking, then there's player versus AI. With player versus AI is a really great warm up. The AI is not bad, but AI can always be stupid. Yeah. And then you can also solo just to practice and try out decks and try out new heroes. So the game, as it stands, has a lot to offer, but definitely needs a lot of work.
Yeah, I think the concepts there, I really like the game mechanics. The only thing is the map is a big complaint for me, and the pace is really slow, so it can be hard to play because unless you got 4 or 5 hours dedicated to this game, you're only going to get 2 or 3 games in.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, like,
You know?
even coming from playing a ton of Counter-Strike just, you don't even feel like you're playing a 40, 50-minute game because the action is paced out in such a way that you don't even really notice the downside. But towards the end of the match in Paragon, if you die, you're facing like an 80-second respawn time, and that is just murder just to sit there for 80 seconds and not be able to do anything.
And
so, wow.
It's higher than other MOBAs. It's higher than League for sure. It's higher than Dota. It's just, man, you get penalized big time for dying.
And that goes back to the whole pacing argument, is that in the late game you get punished for trying to go for picks, because if you die, you're on your ass for 80, 90 seconds, which can lose you the game very easily.
Yeah,
the late
it is.
Game, or like how slow it is in the beginning can really snowball in the end, because your enemy is stuck with a respawn timer that's just so ridiculously long. You could take out 2-3 towers, take out their inhibitor, and go straight to their core and win the game by the time their team is respawned.
Yeah, it's also worth saying that they missed their release date, and For Honor is coming out like really soon, and it's gonna beat this game to release, which is a big deal because it is a third-person hybrid MOBA as well, with a very cool character set. It's very similar to Paragon, except it's a hybrid MOBA instead of a full-on MOBA. Right. So I think that might hurt their sales, but hopefully they'll release it later this year instead of early this year.
Well, I think regardless, it's going to be a free-to-play game, so it's always going to have some kind of audience, because that's just how it goes, right?
Yeah, well, I would like to see this game take off, get pro teams in the whole 9 yard.
I definitely think it has a lot more like than games like League and Dota, at least from my limited experiences. Like, League is just, oh man, I really do not like League. League, I think, has better pacing, and the game is definitely better balanced, but the League is so inaccessible for new players, and that's what I don't want to see happen to this game, because I think that's a problem with MOBAs as a whole, is that when you jump in, it's just like, it's so daunting. There's so much being thrown at you at once. You have to step back and be like, okay, what do I do here? Where do I go search on YouTube? What do I start with?
Yeah, and this game will be very accessible for prior MOBA players and pretty inaccessible for new players, but not as bad as League of Legends, Dota 2, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially if you have someone who already plays it, or you just do some research on YouTube. As someone who never played MOBAs really before this, I got the hang of it after like 1 or 2 games and started working with the deck system. It definitely starts to, it feels like the learning curve is a lot more in just learning your positioning and trying to go with the pacing right now than like actual skill of ability use and timing, in my opinion. So hopefully we'll see that change as the beta goes on. They plan to add more heroes every 3 weeks. They just released just last week, which was pretty cool. So the game's going to always have new content to play, at least during this beta cycle. Hopefully after launch, we're going to see continued support, because EpicGames as a development studio seems to be doing really well right now with a lot of really great games. I've played a lot of Unreal Tournament, and that's fantastic. So this studio can do a lot. And I really hope to see the game succeed.
Yeah, same.
So if you want to find Paragon, all you have to do is look up EpicGames.net. They have a proprietary launcher. The game is like maybe 8 or 9 gig. Not that big of a game. And once you launch it, just be wary about the performance. It might be a little shaky if you don't have like a high-end system. But I feel like most systems will be able to squeak out being able to run it on low settings. And even on lower settings, the game still looks great.
Yeah.
So, Paragon overall, I'll give it a 6 out of 10 for right now for its open beta. The game is fun. It has its issues, and it can definitely solve them. What's your final rating, Jess?
I'll give them a 7.5. I think the game is very enjoyable. If they can fix the map and the pacing, I will be there.
Yeah, for sure. Alright guys, this has been a Paragon review. You can find JesseTiv at his YouTube channel below. He does book reviews and gaming. You can of course leave a like and subscribe to me for more gaming videos. And of course, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping into the den, boys.